So now that we've reorganized our application, let's go and make some changes so that we actually get our activities from our API as opposed to just these values. So what I'm going to do is update my state object, and instead of values we're going to be getting the activities in this case. And we'll stick with this same method, the axios.get, and we'll update the URL here to activities. And then in the response, instead of values, we'll set activities to response.data. And then inside our list, instead of this state values, we'll say activities. And we'll call this activity instead of value. And activity ID. And activity.name. And if I go and browse to what I've done here, I'll find that I'm not actually returning or displaying any activities. Now why is this? Now if I go and inspect my console at this stage, I'll find that my console is clean, I've got no errors, but where's my activities? If I click on my network tab and just refresh, I find that I'm going out to get my activities, and in the preview we're certainly returning them. And this rather silly example is purely to introduce the fact that we're using TypeScript in our application, but we haven't actually used TypeScript in our application. And what we're seeing here is just a consequence of not strongly typing what we're returning from the API. And our activity is given an any label, which means it has no strong typing. Now our activity doesn't have a property called name, it's called title. But when we use an any instead of strongly typing this, we don't get any compiler warnings or errors to tell us that we've made a mistake. So what we're going to look at next, and I'll just make sure that this is now working, and it is, but what we're going to look at next is strongly typing our application so that we do get warnings inside our code editor when we're making mistakes. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at introducing actual types into our application next.